Come on, come all, spontaneous views. I'm here with another one. I'm going to revisit a video I did a long time ago. I'm going to say about 8 months ago, and it's dealing with, I'm back on my BS. I'm talking about Pangea, Flat Earth. I'm back on it because of a video, or I don't even want to say it was a podcast. It was just a live video that was being done on a specific channel that I used to frequently visit it. And I don't know if y'all familiar with Sonetta Studios. Sonetta, real quick, introduced a lot of brothers to information. He introduced a lot of brothers like, he deals with history. He's based out of Harlem, New York, and he has a lot of brothers that be on his podcast or his lives, I should say, or his YouTube channel, and they just spew information about history. They spew information about Africa, so forth and so on. I was listening to a podcast or a live regarding a subject that came up. It wasn't really dealing with Pangea, so to say, but the topic came up. He had another young brother on there, young Pharaoh, but he wasn't on this particular one. He referenced some stuff about Pangea or flat Earth, and I don't know. To me, I'm just gonna say this, family. First, let me say, I can't shout my Knicks out. We took a tough loss today. I'm shouting. I can give credit to Miami, but I still think I don't see how we lost that game today. But anyway, I'm starting to think that it's an agenda going on, even in the quote unquote black community. For some reason, I don't know what it is, and I can't really put my finger on it. I just don't understand how, this is how I'm looking at this. How can you be so engulfed in books and teachings and studying? You say stuff like the white man whitewashed history. You say stuff that that they stole history. They stole from Africa. They stole this story. They stole that. They stole everything. So now you have the information at your fingertips that you can draw to, that can give you information that can allow you to have critical thinking. What I don't understand is, why are we at this time in quote unquote 2023, which we already know that's a bogus year. We're in the Gregorian calendar, but let's just go with this year. Why on earth are we still dealing with, we say stuff like, oh, the white man took information from us and they whitewashed it, but then we turn back around and still follow the same white man's information. Now, I'm going to speak a little briefly on young Pharaoh. Young brother, very talented young brother, very informational brother. But when he's resorting back to, let's just say, the topic of flat earth, and he knows that the earth is round, you're going to basically information that didn't come from your community. I don't get that. That blows my mind. To this day, I do not understand. You can show all these stacks of books that you got, or that you studied, and you went through all of this information, but yet you turn back around and say, oh, well, we know the earth is round because of this person that doesn't come from your community. It doesn't make sense. I already did a video on Pangea about 8 months ago. I brought up key points in that video. I had some people comment, and they talked about well, first let me before I begin the whole spill about Pangea, I just want to paint the picture of where we're at in this quote unquote black community, conscious community that we're in. Now, I'm dealing with live that he was on Sonetta. I think his name is called Brother Unk. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me just say this. I was rocking with Sonetta Studios back in like 2015, 2016. I stopped listening to the information because it started becoming circular. What I mean by is, they really wasn't, they'll get you to a certain point of information, and then they'll drop right back down again. Like, the information was circular. It wasn't like they'll give you the information, but there have these certain debates, and the debates was informational, don't get me wrong, but you're still not really cracking the code on certain things. And the reason why I think they're not really going that in depth with information is because they might get censored. It's certain things that you can't say on a video. Like me, for example, I'm doing this video, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I try to choose my words wisely, but I really be wanting to just straight go for the gut. But I have to understand that I have to watch what I say, because I'm not trying to get, and like I said, I don't even have that much subscribers. But with the information that I be putting out, I should have way more than what I have now. Because it's a lot of these dudes that's out here on this YouTube streets. They give information, but it's always a point of the information where it's like, nah, that ain't right. Yeah, you're right about this, but no, you're not right about that. It's almost like they're trying to convolute or they're trying to put wrong information and right information together to basically confuse you. To me, it got to be some type of agenda going on. I don't know what it is. Now, let me get back to this brother. He brought up Pangea again. And again, the examples that you put up, you're putting up, first of all, a photo that looked like it's CGI that came from millions of years ago. Now, let me tell you the hypocriticalness, if that's even a word, but let me tell you the hypocriticalness that I be seeing when it comes to these guys that be so-called giving this information. You'll turn back around and say, okay, well, Pangea, or you'll put up this chart and you'll say this come from 1 million or 2 million years ago, whatever how long it is. Then you'll turn back around and say written information only came 6,000 years ago. Now, let me put that into perspective to you now. How can you have information that's only been around for 6,000, or written information only been around for 6,000 years, but yet you're presenting information to me from 1 million years ago? That makes no sense. If you're telling me prior to 6,000 years ago that all information that was given to the people at that time was verbal, and they didn't write nothing down till 6,000 years ago in Ethiopia, which from the information or the research that I've done, the oldest information that was written that came about was in Ethiopia 6,000 years ago or so. So how can you present to me information saying that this photo is right and exact from 1 million years ago? Just think about what you're saying. That's like saying the dumb stuff about the sun being 93 million miles away. It has to be an agenda going on, yo. I don't know what it is. He brought up the subject matter about Pangea. He brought up this comical, laughable sketch or a PowerPoint. He's saying the reason why he's supposed to be debating one of the guys I follow, Brother Sanchez. He's one of the first ones that introduced me to Flat Earth. They're doing a debate May 13th. It's payable. I may or may not pay. I don't know yet. But that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that you got brothers that be on these lives that say stuff like, oh, well, written information is only 6,000 years ago. But yet you're turned back around and give me information and say it was 1 million years ago. Then you had the audacity to say that how we don't believe in dinosaurs. I mean, yo, you gotta be kidding me. Yo, you talk about the conscious community and we're talking about dinosaurs. Now, let me break it down. You're talking about Africa. If there is a such thing as dinosaurs, and I don't know, but I'm just using critical thinking. If the oldest information came from Ethiopia or Africa or the African continent, where is the depiction of any dinosaur in any type of hieroglyph, any type of scrolls, any type of booklet, pamphlet that came from the African continent? Show me where they spoke about dinosaurs on the think about it. The hieroglyphs has over 4,000 dialects on it or symbols on it. Most of it hasn't even been deciphered yet. But you ain't never seen a picture of a dinosaur on a hieroglyph. Why is that? Another thing, why don't the hieroglyphs or any type of paintings that was on a pyramids in Africa, Egypt, or the Giza Plateau, wherever you want to talk about a pyramid, why they don't depict anything about a globe on it? Why they don't depict anything about 9 planets? And another thing, if so, why will they name the planets Greek names? If it's African, now we know through history that the Greeks unified with Africa, but that was, Johnny, that was late. That was later on. The empires at that time, they already had multiple dynasties prior to the Greeks coming in and invading Africa or unifying with them. That was with Akhenaten. They unified with Akhenaten. So but Akhenaten was a later dynasty. You had dynasties prior to that. You had Imhotep. You had all these other dynasties that flourished before the Greeks came in. So again, let's get back on this Pangea crap. But I'm going to tell you, I have yet to have anybody answer anything about that question I posed. I'm going to pose it again. If you have a globe that's full of water that's spinning, I asked, if you remove all of the water that's on the globe right now, if you were to remove all of the water, are you telling me that the land masses up under the sea that's in the ocean is not connected? Let's just take, for example, the Western Hemisphere, which is the United States, the Eastern Hemisphere, which is Africa. You could make it seem like it's this great big puzzle, but that's the trick that they put in your mind. You're telling me if you remove the water, let's just say all of the water is removed from the Atlantic Ocean. And if you go to the bottom of that ocean, are you telling me that that land or the bottom of the ocean is still not connected to the Western and the Eastern Hemisphere? Are you telling me that they're not connected? How can you have a Pangea, right? And then you have the land masses spreading apart as the years go by. Now, again, I got my information, or education, I should say. I moved from Jersey, moved to South Carolina. I can't remember if I got this information from Jersey or South Carolina. It doesn't really matter. Everybody across the nation was dealing with the same information. Point I'm trying to make is they said, according to the information that I got, that the land masses spread at least an inch or two a year. I'm saying, let's just hypothetically saying that Pangea happened 2 million years ago. Why are we still looking at maps the same way as we did 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago? If these land masses are spreading apart each year, that means they would have already collapsed on the other side by now. It's no way you're going to believe that land masses were together at one point. They were together. And then they're gradually, as the years go by, they're just splitting apart, and they haven't collapsed yet. Let's look at the fact of if these land masses are spreading apart, they should be spreading apart faster than an inch a year. Like, why is it only an inch a year? That's information that didn't come from the conscious community. And you're stating stuff that didn't come from your community. You're still reaching back to an organization or a people that don't know nothing about history. They made it up, just like they made everything else up. This is all made up information. And I don't understand for the life of me, why in the world are we still putting ourselves in position to listen and get information from people that really don't. I think they're just putting out information just to confuse you. At this point, you have to use critical thinking. Like, where is the critical thinking at in the conscious community? Where is it at? I don't care how much books you got. See, that's the problem. We so book smart. But we ain't got no sense up here. You got book sense, but no common sense. And you done engulfed yourself in reading so many books to where now you can't even come out of that spell you're in and just think critically. I mean, just think. I've been to Vegas last year for my anniversary. It took me if the earth is spinning counterclockwise, that means that landmass of Vegas, I'm flying from Georgia. If I'm going from Georgia to Vegas, if it took me 4 hours to get there, if the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour going counterclockwise, then how did it take me 4 hours or less getting back to Georgia? And please don't come with that crap about, oh, the plane is spinning with the atmosphere and the atmosphere is spinning with the earth. That is, again, that means that you're so engulfed in information that your community didn't come up with, is that you're just basically, you've indoctrinated yourself again. That's basically what you did. It's amazing when I go on Facebook and I make comments, I be in these little chats about flat earth and stuff like that. It's amazing how I go into these rooms, or not rooms, but when I go into these little comments, and the stuff that people say blows my mind. I really think that the government or NASA is paying trolls to create these groups so they can further persuade you to believe in what they want you to believe. Now, I think a couple weeks ago they came out with this. They having this NASA is coming up with this mission again about going to the moon. I think it's in 2025. Something bogus, and of course they got a black man represent. I mean, that's along with this team that they have going out to the moon. You know what that does, right? That further indoctrinates black people to think that, oh man, we're about to go to the moon. Nobody's ever been to the moon. I'm gonna pose this question. Back in 1969, when Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other liars said they went to the moon, when they landed, if you have a moonlight, like it's dark out, but I can't see the moon right now. I wish I could have took a picture of one. If the moon is light, it's moonlight. The sun lights up the day, the moon lights up the night. So that means regardless of what time it is, the moon still has moonlight. Just because you're in the daytime and you may see the moon is still reflecting. If you're on a globe, that means the moon on the other side of the globe is nighttime. So again, if you're going to the moon and it's moonlight, why, when they land, the surface of the moon is dark? Critical thinking. And a point that I just made this now about seeing the moon and the sun at the same time. Again, I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, they said that the moon is on the other side of the earth and the sun is on the daytime of the earth. So it's daytime when the sun is out, it's nighttime when the moon is out. It's been plenty of times I've seen the sun and the moon out in the sky at the same time. I'm about to get back on my book BS with this flat earth stuff because y'all ain't getting it, and it's frustrating the hell out of me. For real, because it don't make no sense. I cannot believe the stuff that I'm hearing in the conscious community. That let me know it has to be an agenda going on with the conscious community. You're not presenting anything tangible that I can go by that would say, you know what? Maybe he has a point. You're just still giving me a PowerPoint that's CGI. Everything that you give is a CGI. That's it. Pangea, again, it's simple. I'm right now in my car, and let's just say I sit here for another hour. That means in relation to the earth spinning, that means I should be at least 20, I don't really know, I'm just hypothetically saying this, 20 to 30 degrees, I should be slanted on another, what, I guess you could say area of, I mean, the whole shit don't even make no sense. that you believe that you're spinning. But everybody I know that'll watch this video that I'm doing right now, been to the beach before, and when you look left and you look right, you know that it look flat. You can't say, oh, I got to go to a certain height and then I'm going to see curvature. No, you can't do that, because you'll be the same person to say, if you seen a boat 5 miles out and you constantly see the boat going out, you're going to say the boat is going over the horizon or going over a curve. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, well, I can't see it because I'm on the ground, even though it look flat, it ain't flat. So now you're psyching yourself out. But now you're saying, oh, well, if I see this boat going from north to south or south to north, it's going out into the sea, and I don't see the bottom of it, that's curvature. Which is it? Do I see the curvature when I'm 1,000 feet up in the air, or do I see the curvature on land? Because, again, you can't have it both ways. This, it's an agenda. Well, let me just say this. It's silly for me to think that it's not an agenda going on. I obviously know that there's an agenda going on. But when the agenda is coming from the conscious community, that's a problem. That's letting me know that you got somebody that's in your ear, or you're connected with somebody that's allowing you to still further indoctrinate black people. I'm not just making it a black and white thing. I want whites, Chinese, Italians, anybody to wake up. Because the more and more we wake up, we'll know that these people are trying to hide land. That's what it's all about. So when somebody come up to me and say, hey, it doesn't matter if the earth is round or it's flat. It matters when they took the flat earth and they made it into a ball. That's why Antarctica, I wish I had this diagram, but when they make it into a ball, that's why Antarctica is at the bottom. Because if you think about a flat earth and you go around the ice wall, the Antarctic ice wall, if you take that flat earth with the ice wall around it, and if you fold it into a ball, it will make Antarctica at the bottom. It makes perfect sense. Pangea, come on, man. We really think that millions of years ago, just because, and this is what they say now, because the same soil is on the Atlantic coast, the same soil is on the western bank of Africa. So what? First of all, how do you know that? What research have you done for you to go and just dig up some dirt? And let's just say, I grew up in South Carolina, so we used to go to the beach all the time in the Atlantic Ocean. So let's just say I take that same dirt, I go to the beach and take that same dirt, and I take a flight and I go to the western part. Let's just say you got Sierra Leone, you got Morocco on the western bank, you got I think Nubia. I can't remember all of the countries that's on the western bank, but any one of them western bank countries, and I go scoop the same dirt up and I compare the same dirt. First of all, how in the world, after millions of years, the dirt is going to still be the same regardless? Think about it. Africa, they say, and this is just the information that I've got, it could be wrong, but diamonds in Africa is not even that serious like how it is over here, how we praise diamonds. They say diamonds they got diamond mines in Sierra Leone. It's diamonds everywhere. We don't praise it. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you got diamonds in the soil in Africa, then why the hell we don't have diamonds in the soil in America? If it's Pangea and it was together at one time, why the hell we ain't got no zebras running around here like that? Because if you think about the eastern part of the United States, which is South Carolina, North Carolina, Delaware, all up to Jersey, Maine, all that, Florida, that same area should still have the same animals that the western bank of Africa have. Why it's not like that? I mean, come on, man. I'm gonna have to make another part 2 to this. I'm gonna have to make a part 3 to this until I get it into people's head that, man, we've been duped. And this is very upsetting when I'm getting this information from the conscious community. Well, how conscious are you? I'm gonna have to make a part 2 to this. I just had to get that off my chest, and I feel like I ain't even really say that much. I'm gonna make a part 3 to this. I should say part 3, part 4. I don't know how much until I dig into people's head to let them know that we have been indoctrinated to the point to where critical thinking is poof. It's like a puff of smoke. It's gone, and it's sad. That video, Sarnetta, come on, man. Until we get to the point to where we're saying that the conscious community is really conscious, y'all ain't conscious. Y'all following some information that's outdated. Y'all sound outdated. That's one of the reasons why I stopped listening to the channel in the first place. The information was becoming outdated. You can't talk about information coming from a particular society, the Caucasian race, but then you turn back around and follow the same information. You criticize them when it comes to history, but then you go along with them when it comes to the NASA, and NASA only been around for what, 60, 70 years? NASA began in 1958. But you'll big them up, but somebody like me would come along and say, hey, they are lying about this information. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do another part to this. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Y'all already know what time it is. I'm gonna have to go back on my BS. It's flat. It's flat, and I'm keeping it there. Spontaneous views, come one, come all. It's flat.